Hey everyone, John here. This For Honor guide will help you learn the character classes Lawbringer, Valkyrie, and Berserker, and will provide tips and tricks you can use to outclass your opponent, including feats for each slot and coverage of each playstyle for the classes. The Lawbringer in For Honor is a counter-attacker and disabler that focuses on getting the advantage over his enemies through disables and stuns. You'll need to keep your range as Lawbringer and play somewhat safer. Focus on finding ways to use Blind Justice and the Long Arm. These two abilities will bolster your chances of winning fights immensely. Always remember to use your Revenge meter. Revenge boosts your damage and health. As a Lawbringer, you're going to need to abuse the bonuses whenever possible. Revenge mode makes all your attacks uninterruptible as well, and attacks are auto-parried on activation. If an enemy gets in too close for comfort, feel free to stagger them back by activating your Revenge meter. You'll have them on the ropes from that point forward. Next, onto the feats. You'll gain more feat resources playing objectives and killing enemies. Playing into your set roll will garner you more resources overall to unlock them. As a Lawbringer, you should be looking to bounce around everywhere you're needed. You're a team fight master. For the first slot, at level 1, you can unlock Conqueror, which lets you capture control zones faster and boosts last longer. At level 5, you unlock Harsh Judgment, which reduces a target's stamina for a short moment. Use this feat whenever you plan on laying down the damage or coordinate the ability with your allies for faster kills. At level 13, you unlock Body Count, which killing soldiers grants you health and stamina. Onto the second slot. At level 1, you unlock Righteous Deflection. This allows you to parry to gain high damage reduction for a short time. Getting the damage reduction is amazing off a parry. This opens up the opportunity for you to get fairly aggressive without having to worry too much about taking damage. Fiat Lux is unlocked at level 7. Using this feat, you throw a flash grenade that blinds enemies for a few seconds. And Juggernaut is unlocked at level 15. You're slowed but gain a high damage reduction. For the third slot, at level 1 you unlock Protected Revive. Your revive is protected and grants allies health. Being able to revive safely is just too good to pass up. Easy choice here. Pugno Mortis, unlocked at level 9, is a feat that allows you to throw an explosive that deals moderate damage in an area. At level 17, you unlock Second Wind, which allows you to recover some of your health. For the fourth slot, at level 1, you unlock Igneous Ember, which allows you to throw several grenades that deal moderate damage over an area. At level 11, you unlock Catapult, which calls in a catapult strike to deal massive damage over an area. At level 19, you get Regenerate, which helps you regenerate your health when out of combat. You'll be moving around plenty, picking up dead allies and supporting the objective players. You need this on the move. Next, on to the playstyle. For 4v4 Dominion, be everywhere you need to be and support your allies as the Lawbringer. Keep a constant eye on what's yours and what's being taken. Know where your friends are and always take the fight in numbers. Remember to revive whenever possible while playing Lawbringer. Protected Revive is absolutely essential. You can farm more feat resources to get a competitive advantage over your opponents. In 4v4 and 2v2 brawls, you need to be able to win your 1v1 consistently, but you may not win it quickly. The fights end up being messy, so play around with your tank and find ways to support him. As a Lawbringer, you can get early damage in by using your crowd control moves and forcing the enemy out of guard mode. Lawbringer excels at 1v1 fights due to the character's natural range and crowd control. Always keep your range and try to work in Judge, Jury, and Executioner whenever possible. Your opponent will try to counter you by dashing into your space or spamming light attacks. Be ready to parry and counter with your own flurry. The Valkyrie in For Honor is an adaptable disabler that focuses on getting the advantage over her enemies through multiple unblockable knockdowns, shield, tackle, and spear sweep. In addition, the Valkyrie also has a bleed effect with shoulder pin and a pushback with shield crush. Make use of her solid utility. Of course, always remember to use your Revenge meter. The Revenge boosts your damage and health. As a Valkyrie, you're going to need to abuse the bonuses whenever possible. Revenge mode makes all of your attacks uninterruptible as well, and attacks are auto-parried on activation. This can be used as an opener or for general purpose. Next up is the feats. For the first slot, at level 1 you unlock Rush. Trigger this to gain movement speed for a short duration. Unlocked at level 5 is Deadly. The reason why I would choose this over Bounty Hunter is because you aren't always going to get the killing blow. At level 13 you get Bounty Hunter, which means you gain health and stamina when you kill another hero. On to the second slot. At level 1, you get Bloodlust, which means killing heroes grants temporary attack and defense boosts. At level 7, you unlock Bear Trap. You can set a trap that damages and stops victims in their tracks. It's a great tool for getting away or setting up bait. You can easily transition the Bear Trap into another crowd control combo as well. At level 15, you get the Juggernaut feat, which means you're slowed, but you also gain a high damage reduction. On to the third slot. At level 1, you get Javelin, which means you throw a javelin for moderate damage at an enemy. At level 9, you get Fury, which raises your sprint speed slightly, but your attack and defense greatly. At level 17, you get Sharpened Blade. Using this feat, attacks inflict low damage over time. Chip damage is great and bleeds do cause death. You'll be applying this while also disabling the other players. And finally, for the fourth slot. At level 1, you get Scout, which means all enemies are marked for death and show up on the radar. This lowers enemy players' attack and defense on one target, usually. This reveals everyone's position and debuffs them at the same time. At level 11, you get Fire Flask. You can throw a projectile creating a fire effect over an area. And at level 19, you get Regenerate, which regenerates your health when you're out of combat. Next, on to the playstyles. The Valkyrie doesn't always shine in 4v4 Dominion as she would in more isolated engagements. Playing her requires a lot of coordination and intense focus. Constantly checking for enemies and watching the objectives will be hard to do when focused on a single fight. However, if you get the hang of managing her skill set while paying enough attention to how the match is playing out overall, then by all means. Regarding 4v4 and 2v2 Brawl, I will only ever recommend Valkyrie in 4v4 elimination if you're playing with a set group. She requires too much coordination and mechanical knowledge to be effective in a messy fight. 2 should be easier to grasp with the lower number of players. Valkyrie can win her 1v1s with ease or disable the opponent long enough for you to get over to your ally and assist in their fight. But Valkyrie is amazing at 1v1 fights. She can consistently knock down her opponent and beat down her opponents constantly. Always know what utility combos you have at your disposal. There are too many options for her to fail hard in a solo duel. The Berserker in For Honor is a short-ranged harasser that focuses on getting the advantage over her enemies through sheer force. She pumps out big damage and can chain her attacks into an uninterruptible flurry. To end the chain, you can do an overhead heavy attack for increased damage. You'll constantly be forcing the fight as closely as possible with the Berserker and play hyper-aggressively. Focus on your movement and strike immediately when the opportunity presents itself. At that moment, don't let up. Don't forget to use your revenge meter. Revenge boosts your damage and health. As a Berserker, you're going to need to abuse the bonuses whenever possible. Revenge modes makes all of your attacks uninterruptible as well, and attacks are auto-parried on activation. Never forget. On to the feats. For the first slot, at level 1, you get Bounty Hunter, which lets you gain health and stamina when you kill another hero. At level 5, you get Rush, which triggers a gain of movement speed for a short duration. At level 13, you get the Stun Trap, which lets you set a trap that stuns enemies. It's great for crowd control, and it's easy to place and set up for baits. On to the second slot. At level 1, you get Revenge Attacks, which fill the revenge meter when you attack. Getting revenge is a priority for the Berserker class. You need those uninterruptible attacks. At level 7, you get the Bear Trap, which lets you set up a trap that damages and stops victims in their tracks. At level 15, you get Doom Banner, which makes nearby enemies have less powerful attack and defense. Now onto the third slot. At level 1, you get the Throwing Axe, which lets you throw an axe dealing moderate damage. At level 9, you get Sharpened Blade, which means attacks inflict low damage over time. Even if you aren't chaining indefinitely, you'll still be getting good damage in with bleeds with this feat. At level 17, you get Fury, which raises your sprint speed slightly, but your attack and defense greatly. And last is the fourth slot. At level 1, you get Berserker. This raises your sprint speed, attack, and defense greatly. And I mean, come on, it's the name of your class. At level 11, you get Fire Flask, which allows you to throw a projectile, creating a fire effect over an area. At level 19, you get Fear itself, which means enemies around you have lower stamina regeneration and defenses. And now for the Berserker playstyle. In 4v4 Dominion, play around your allies. This is a must. If this was an MMO, you'll be the one topping the damage. No one does it better. Find your 2v1s and take the kill on the lone opponent. When the enemy changes to face you, disengage and wait. Once the focus is no longer on you, dive back into the fray. When the opportunity presents itself, pop your revenge meter and your Berserker feat. You will be a true terror. Move around the battlefield as much as you can, but don't ever go too far alone. The Berserker is weak in the health department. On to 4v4 and 2v2 Brawl mode. 4v4 elimination gets really messy, but that's exactly what you want. You need the confusion to really push the limits. When no one's coordinated, that's when you're able to dish out damage as you please. 2v2s are going to be a bit trickier. You may just want to disengage the set 1v1 at the start and force the fight with all 4 players present. Create your scenario to wreak havoc. Berserkers in 1v1s are below average in my opinion. They rely so heavily on constant aggression that they'll lose stamina quickly. Your best bet is to get a few hits here and there, but never truly commit to the unending chain of attacks. It won't be a possibility in a 1v1 duel. However, there is a trick you may use, the uncounterable guard break. After performing a deflect, Berserkers can follow up with a quick guard break which doesn't follow any of the regular guard break rules. I hope you found these For Honor guides helpful. What class has been your favorite so far? Let me know in the comments. And remember to like and share this video and subscribe to our channel for all of your For Honor guide needs. You're watching esports on PvP Live.